Welcome back to Autoscope, the channel where legends come back to life on your screen and engines never truly go silent. Before you even blink, let me hit you with a fact most people don't know. A showroom stock Toyota from 1994 can, with nothing more than a $50 boost controller and a tank of premium, outrun some of today's boutique supercars that cost 20 times as much. Intrigued? Buckle up for the next half hour. We're diving deep into the 1994 Toyota Supra MK4 chassis code GTE, though many casual fans still mix it up with Nissan's Z32. By the time the final turbo whistle fades, you'll understand why this machine rewrote the performance rulebook, sparked a global tuning renaissance, and became the first Japanese car that could make European exotics genuinely nervous. Alright, engine fired, stack sweeping, let's roll. It's 1993. Toyota unveils the fourth-generation Supra to a market still convinced that made in Japan means practical sedans and sensible hatchbacks. Then the spec sheet drops: twin sequential turbochargers, forged internals, 6-speed jet-drag gearbox, aluminum hood, magnesium steering wheel corp, and an aerodynamically honed silhouette that slices through air at 0.31 CD. Suddenly, the conversation around Japanese performance graduates from "that's cute" to "wait, they can do that?" But to appreciate how revolutionary the 94 Supra truly is, you need the backstory. The first three Supra generations were solid grand tours, yet none cracked the code of blending daily civility with outright supercar baiting speed. Chief engineer Isao Suzuki's directive for MK4 was simple: break free from compromise. The team borrowed high-tech lessons from Toyota's Group C endurance program, married them to a front mid-engine layout, and chased the lowest possible center of gravity. Even the fuel tank was flattened and shoved under the trunk floor to keep mass within the wheelbase. Slide your eyes across the sheet metal. That long clamshell hood isn't just drama, it sits 2 inches lower than a third-gen Supra's while clearing Toyota's crown jewel straight 6. The double bubble roof curves inward to shave drag and add helmet clearance for track duty. Integrated headlights replace pop-ups to cut 33 pounds and improve night visibility. Every curve is wind tunnel tested, no styling for styling's sake, yet the result looks timeless, not clinical. 30 years later, the MK4 still turns heads in a lineup of contemporary sports cars. Under that aluminum hood lives the reason for him still crash whenever the words 2JZ-GTE are typed. A 2,997cc, iron block, 24-valve Dock inline-6 designed to survive literally at 1,000 horsepower without crying uncle. From the factory it delivers 320 horsepower and 315 pounds-to-feet in U.S. trim, detuned by gentleman's agreement politics rather than engineering limits. Sequential blowers to CT12BS spun by ceramic turbines in Japanese models. Steel in export cars, a hand-off boost so smoothly you'd swear it was a single large turbo until the tech needle storms past 4,000 revolutions per minute and the second snail joins the party. Factor in water-to-air intercooling in certain markets, a factory oil cooler, and direct multi-port FA, and you have a power plant begging for abuse. Toyota knew the chassis had to keep up. Out went the heavy old rear subframe and came a brand new aluminum arm multilink that saved 124 pounds unsprung. Brembo-sourced 4-piston front calipers clamp 12.7-inch discs bigger than contemporary Ferraris. A Swiss-built jet-drag V1 66-speed, near indestructible, allows 3.13 miles per hour per 100 revolutions per minute in top gear. Translation: 180 miles per hour potential without touching redline. And although the target roof option adds flex, Toyota stiffened the sills and A-pillars so effectively that even today's owners rarely complain about creaks. Numbers time. Contemporary instrumented tests recorded 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.6 seconds, quarter mile in 13.1 at 109 miles per hour, 0.95 grams on the skid pad, and 70 to 0 miles per hour braking in 149th day, placing the Supra squarely between the Porsche 928 GTS and Ferrari 348. Yet those figures barely hint at how the car feels. Nail the throttle exiting a second gear corner and the rear end squats, limited slip diff bites, and both turbos shove you forward like a slingshot. Steering is hydraulic, 2.8 turns lock-to-lock, with a meaty onsetter that modern IPA's setups can't replicate. The chassis telegraphs weight transfer so clearly that even novice drivers sense approaching grip limits. It's this confidence that makes 500 WHP builds feel usable rather than terrifying. Speaking of builds, there is no 1990s Japanese platform more beloved by tuners. The recipe is infamous: bigger single-turbo, upgraded fuel system, AQ flash or standalone, and a boom of 700-plus wheel horsepower on pump gas, 900 on E85, 4-digit glory on race fuel. The short, stout pistons happily swing at 8,500 revolutions per minute with upgraded valve train. Because the iron block resists distortion, headlift is the first real worry, and even that waits until 35 pounds per square inch or so. Many owners never open the bottom end while chasing those numbers. Drivetrain, stock Jet-Wagon differential, laugh it off. Show another platform with that tirade copyright sub-mate copyright wheel weight. Inside, the 94 Supra's cockpit is unapologetically driver-centric. The main binnacle tilts 7 degrees toward the left seat, giving the impression of sitting inside your own instrument pod. Factory boost gauge lives within a deep triple-meter cluster. The climate controls are large, glove-friendly buttons. Remember, this is pre-touch screen sanity. Seats feature power lumbar and adjustable side bolsters, wrapped in leather or cloth that somehow ages better than mid-2000s BMW hides. And for the audio feels, Toyota partnered with JBL on a 7-speaker, 86-watt system that can actually compete with a 3-inch downpipe soundtrack. A broken bar? Well, almost. Throw it into a high-speed sweeper and the Supra communicates with old-school honesty. The front McPherson struts absorb mid-corner bumps without steering rack kickback, while the rear double wishbone keeps the tail predictable. Yet press the TRC off button and suddenly the Supra shows its rowdy side. Throttle's terrible, smoke-friendly, but always savable thanks to balanced weight distribution and long wheelbase. That duality: a docile grocery getter one moment, drift hero the next, is why owners routinely drive to the track, set blistering laps, then cruise home with the AC cranking. On the motorsport front, the MK4 never officially raced in Group like its R32 Skyline rival. Changing regulations clipped that dream, but it did tear up JGTC as the Castrol Tom Supra, punching out 500-plus HP under GT 500 rules and claiming championships in 1997, 2001, and 2002. Those victories cemented the Supra's status in Japan as Toyota's halo performance car, influencing everything from GT 300 silhouettes to Gran Turismo loading screens. Ah yes, pop culture. One orange A80 wearing Bomex syrup and a giant tapir wing exploded onto movie screens in 2001's The Fast and the Furious, instantly becoming a poster car for an entire generation. Video games like Need for Speed Underground and Gran Turismo ensured that even kids without driver's licenses knew what a 2JZ sounded like at full spool. Demand skyrocketed. By the late 2010s, pristine MKs were clearing 6 figures at auction, topping out when a 7,000-mile 97 anniversary edition sold for $201,000. And that's before you consider special builds like the factory unpainted hardtop lightweight, of which fewer than 25 exist. Let's talk ownership. Reliability myths. Mostly true. The Supra is tough as nails. Head gasket failures on extreme builds aside, common issues are minor: aging crank position sensors, sticky wastegate actuators, and brittle target top weather seals. Parts availability. Toyota's GR Heritage program now remanufactures 2JZ blocks, turbos, and Jet-Wagon Synchro. Expect annual maintenance under $1,500 if you're not chasing Mega Boost. Insurance, on the other hand, can sting once agreed value appraisals hit exotic car territory. Market watch. As of mid-2025, U.S. 6-speed twin-turbo cars average $140,000 $160K, with ultra-low milers eclipsing $200K. Japanese market RZs imported under the 25-year rule hover around $90,000 $110K, while automatic or non-turbo models stay south of $60. Cost. Still a lot, but attainable compared to air-cooled 911s. And here's the kicker, analysts predict incremental gains rather than a bubble burst, thanks to global collector demand and Toyota's decision not to resurrect the 2JZ in the modern GR Supra. How does the MK4 stack against period rivals? Versus Nissan's 300Z XC32 twin-turbo, the Supra carries 200 fewer pounds and 40 more rated horses, yet yields a more spacious engine bay for mods. Against Mazda's RX-7 FD, it sacrifices some turn-in sharpness for bulletproof durability. The Skyline GT RR33 brings AWD traction and tuner-friendly RB26 power, but good luck finding one stateside without paying import premiums. The Acura NSX boasts mid-engine finesse yet costs triple on the collector market. Each has merits only the Supra blends straight-line savagery, everyday reliability, and global parts supply in one package. You can't mention Supra without the legendary 1000 horsepower build. Picture this, precision 6870 single turbo at 30 pounds per square inch, ID 1300 injectors, Infinity EQ, flex fuel sensor, and a dual pump hanger. Stock crank, Carrillo rods, CP pistons, GSC S2 cams. Dyno sheet shows 1004 whp on E85, trap speeds in the mid-150s. Yet the owner daily drives IDA air conditioning on, phone charging, Spotify streaming through a modern head unit. No trailer queen here. That, in a nutshell, is superculture. Outrageous numbers mixed with real-world usability. So what's the future? Toyota's Gazoo racing arm hints at more heritage parts and potential continuations. Short blocks. Electrification looms, but enthusiasts will keep the internal combustion flame alive, and no engine wears that crown more proudly than the 2JZ. Expect Restamat builds a carbon wide bodies, hybrid electric assist, adaptive dampers, yet always anchored by that indomitable straight-six soundtrack. Before we close the throttle blades, let's appreciate the Supra's greater legacy. It shattered stereotypes, proved that passion plus engineering could rival brand prestige, and inspired a generation to pick up wrenches, laptops, and dyno time instead of settling for off-the-shelf speed. 30 years on, you can walk into a Friday night meet anywhere on Earth and someone will have a Supra story, the car they built, the one they beat, or the poster they still keep above their workspace. That's our ride for today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hammer that like button like it tells you boost, subscribe so you never miss another session inside the Autoscope garage, and ring the bell to stay ahead of the pack. Drop your favorite Supra memory or your craziest 2JZ horsepower target in the comments below, and we'll shout out the most outrageous one in our next episode. Until then, keep the revs high, the tires warm, and remember, legends aren't born, they're built. Headlines for chapter markers: A-Sense powerful hook, showroom Supra vs modern supercars. A-Sense origins and design secrets of the MK4. A-Sense depth dive, the 2JZ-GTE engine explained. A-Sense factory performance numbers and real-world feel. A-Sense tuning culture, why 1000 horsepower is entry-level. A-Sense interior, livability, and reliability myths. A-Sense motorsports wins and pop culture fame. A-Sense market values and collector outlook in 2025. A-Sense Supra vs period rivals, Z32, RX-7, GTR, NSX. A-Sense case study, daily driven 4-digit horsepower build. A-Sense future of the MK4 and heritage support. A-Sense outro. Like, subscribe, share. Autoscope signing off.